Hey guys, and welcome to tonight's live stream with Kaylene Winter and her amazing guest, Enrico, who is one of our models from her series, and he is on Timeless. And I cannot wait to share them, talk with them, interview, have some fun tonight. So let's welcome both Kaylene and Enrico.
Hello. Hey, Enrico.
I need to make sure the chat is open. We got the chat going. I think I got the Instagram going. We will see how this goes, guys.
We're everywhere.
Fingers crossed it all works.
I think we're officially multicasting.
We are, because we're
Enrico,
on.
you are the first person we are multicasting with.
Yay, I feel special.
Hi, Instagrammers, YouTubers, Facebook group. We are hopefully in all the places. If you are tuning in right now, wherever you are seeing us, please comment on this live stream so we know where you are tuning in from this evening. Please.
Well, I can start. I'm tuning in from Las Vegas, not Seattle.
I know. That's so exciting. So my little travelista over here is always on the go. Always on the go. Enrico, where are you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm in old good Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky. We're a little bit all over the world. Well, the United States anyways. So, okay, so let's get things started. Kaylene, you want to talk a little bit about Timeless, and let's kind of go into that and some goodies we're going to share tonight and exciting things we're going to go over?
Well, I've been teasing this all week on my technology live streams that I've been doing. But Timeless it's for me very special because it is a true childhood friends, two lovers romance about two Fiona and Zane who knew each other from the time they were babies. Their parents were all friends. You get a little of this background in Endless. You get it all throughout all the books, like all the books. You can kind of come into any of the books at any time. But if you started with Timeless, you get a little bit of the background of Zane and his dad Carter in Restless, which is the free book. And so this is sort of a continuation of that part of the story, but leading into the whole Lesson Zero world and how Zane and Fiona navigate their lives from kids through teenagers, through young adults, through adulthood. And it's a true coming of age story. And I think it's very sweet. Of course, it's also very steamy because it's one of my books. But what I've been teasing is that Timeless also has the cool factor of all of the other books that I wrote. I had written before I met any of my awesome guys and gals who are the models for all the characters. And Timeless is the first one I wrote after I met Enrico. And so there's a little thing that I have dropped in throughout the book that is a complete homage to my friend Enrico, because he told me stories as we were, hanging out before and after the shoot. And I just found it so inspiring. And it actually worked perfectly for Zane, the character, in how he learns to cope with a lot of things that have happened to him in his life. So Enrico can maybe talk a little bit more about that. I touch on it, but Enrico is the expert.
Well, I mean, I guess I should be the expert, right? Because it's me, right? But I'm far from it, to be honest with you. First of all, I mean, I'm honored. And I feel special. I feel special in the sense that I was able to create this awesome relationship with you before you even wrote the book. And I feel like that will forever kind of leave this feeling of uniqueness and just kind of like, oh, wow, I feel special. I mean, even though, look, obviously I know all of the other cover models personally, and they're all amazing guys. I mean, each one, in their own way, they're freaking phenomenal people. But in taking this book series, I feel like my book has a little something special in it, and I'm like, that's just me. That's my book, right? You guys don't have that, so so in that it's a little selfish, I know, but And I feel special, but also because of the relationship that you and I kind of developed through the first shoot. The first shoot, and I'm pretty sure everyone here already knows, but it was in the beginning. I think it was like first weekend of February, right? In the freaking
Minnesota.
cold Minnesota, Minnesota, and it was completely out of my comfort zone. It's been a while since I've done anything modeling related. I mean, that I don't really do it as much anymore. So being on the cover of Timeless is really it was really kind of like it's a bittersweet for me because it was probably one of the last things that I'm ever going to do as a model. Life has kind of taken a little bit of a shift for me, a good shift, it's an awesome shift, but you created such an amazing experience. And I think I speak for everyone of the, let's call it cast members, right? Like for all four guys, I know I speak for everyone when I say that you created something so special. The first shoot was awesome. I didn't know you. I got to Minnesota because the original communication was only with Regina, right? It was only with Regina. So when I got to Minnesota, I didn't know who you were, but I think that you and I clicked immediately. Like immediately, I just looked at you. Like
everybody clicks with her. She's so easy to click with.
Absolutely, like seriously, you're so easy to connect to, and we immediately had these awesome conversations, and obviously the dinner we had, we got to share a lot more of who we were and what we're into, and obviously that's how you were able to write it in the book, right? To implement it in the book. But in that sense, I feel really honored and special to be one of those characters that you were able to create knowing me already, knowing who I was. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of a good segue to sort of tell us a little bit about you, because I know some, I've gotten to know you and adore you. And, I know that at least from all the comments I'm getting and some of the initial, so I don't know, Enrico, if you know this term, but advanced reader copies, it means ARC. And so in the author world, before we release a book, we have teams that are our supporters or people that are interested in our work, and they will read it ahead of time. And so only a few people get that. You obviously have it, and a couple of people have started to come in, and they're like, oh my gosh, Enrico, Zane, my favorite. Like, I thought I loved all the other guys, but oh my God, I love him. Everybody, that is absolutely universal what I'm getting from at least the preliminary reads.
Now, we just hosted a giveaway last week, and Kaylene gave an early ARC only out to her group, like her private group on Facebook. And we sent 5 of those out today. So they are ecstatic. Like, they couldn't email me fast enough to get this book on their Kindle. And I sent all those out. And then our ARCs to everybody that signed up, those go out on Wednesday. But everybody's really excited about this book. And I love that Kaylene has built this little community, and like you said, your castmates and everybody that Kaylene touches. I feel like everybody it's just one happy group. She comes and brings people together and makes something really awesome, from work to her reader group to working with the models and people in the book community. I'm tooting your horn a little bit, Kaylene. She's just an amazing lady to work with and work for. Not only that, she's very unique in the fact that, like, she's brought the models in and we get to know you a little bit better. And I feel like it's such a more professional way to get to know you all, and the stories behind the books and why she picked who she picked, and then getting to know your all's backstory too. So we appreciate you guys so much.
No, let me tell you something, Kiki. In that specific sense, I could not compliment Kaylene enough, because she did something. And I think, I actually toasted to this. I raised a toast on our dinner in LA. And I told her, look, I've been doing this for a little bit here,
Love it.
Doing this for a little bit. And all of us, all of the models, I mean, especially Brendan and I, we've been doing this for quite a bit, and we have never never experienced anything like the experience that Kaylene gave us. Because usually a job is a job, and you treat it like it as such.
Right.
You go in, you do the job, you finish, go home. I mean, you barely even remember that you did it. You just look forward to the next gig, to the next job, and it's like that with 99.9% of the jobs. But
Right.
this I call it a project. I don't even call it a job. I call it a project, kind of like it was an investment in a relationship. It was so much more than just come in, do the job, go home.
Right.
It gave us some, I don't even know, like a platform to share. It gave us the ability to open up what we usually don't do. I mean, modeling is a brutal industry. I mean, it is a brutal industry. You have to have a thick skin. You rarely ever get to share. It's pretty superficial, but you gave us the opportunity to just kind of show you who we were as people, as humans. A lot of times people just forget that models are people. We're humans.
Right.
We love certain things, right? Like we have our own point of interests. We have our own lives, and we have our struggles, our difficulties. We have and you were there to listen to those. And that is amazing, because usually it just doesn't happen. And you were able to bring, and I think I told you that, like, you were able to bring a group of people. I mean, at least I know 3 of us, right? Brendan, son of Odin. Guys, I call Shorty son of Odin because he looks like he's the son of a god, of a Viking. So I call him son of Odin, and it's going to stick. You will see.
We're hashtagging it.
At least the 3 of us, and that I know of, right? Like, I don't know about Garrett, but I know about the 3 of us. We already put modeling behind us. Like we were done. Like it was definitely behind us. But you were able to bring all of us to one place in one weekend, right? And we all have our full lives. We all have our jobs, our travel plans. I mean, you know how hard it was, but you did it. Like you found a day, and that's something that's truly amazing to me. I saw that weekend, and honestly, sometimes not sometimes, most jobs, like I said, they're an in and out type of thing. You go in, you can't wait to go back home. This weekend in LA, when it was over, I was sad. Like I was sad to leave. I was like, "Wow, is it really over?"
Well, pause. Let's talk about that weekend. Tell us what happened.
Kiki, I can talk for hours, seriously. So you just ask me the questions that.
No, I want to know, because I completely missed it. I was bummed out because we didn't get to go. So, and then I've seen all the videos, I've seen all the pictures, and we get the back end of things because we're in the PR side. On your end, what was it like? What all did you do? Like, explain to us, what were the highlights of the LA shoot with Kaylene and Ravenna?
Well, the highlights, first of all, it's always fun to shoot with other models that you know. So it's fun. Like it's just a fun experience. Being alone is never.
Well, you and Brandon knew each other, right? So like that's some of your backstory. I didn't, and here's like all these weird little magical sprinkles of awesomeness. I had no idea that Enrico and Brandon knew each other until we were walking to dinner in Minnesota. And he was like, "Oh, who are some of the other guys?" Because he had seen Shorty and Garrett at the shoot in Minnesota, but Brandon couldn't go because his wife, Tara, we did the shoot later, was pregnant at the time. And it was a height of COVID, all that stuff, or first COVID or whatever we're calling it. And so he couldn't come. And so he was asking me, and I said, Brandon, and he was like, Brandon Katz? And I was like, yeah. And go Enrico.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how it happened. We're walking to dinner, and like, I don't know how many negatives, like Fahrenheit, that freaking weather was. And I just genuinely wanted to know about the other covers and the other models. And when you said Brandon, I was like, wait a second, but what Brandon? Which Brandon? And when you said when I said Brandon Katz, you said, yeah. I was like, oh my God. Like, and then from that point, I really hope that you would do some kind of a reunion that we can all come together, because my story with Brendan, it's I love my story with Brendan because we kind of started at the same time with modeling. I mean, I think about like 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago, Brendan and I signed with the same agency down in Miami. We were both signed with Elite Miami, and we always missed each other. Like every time he came down, I was I was somewhere else. I think at one point I was even in LA and he was in Miami, and then we switched. Like I went back to Miami and he went back to LA. But basically, we were signed with the same agency. We shot with the same photographers for our book. Like our book, basically, if you look at our books, like they look almost exactly the same because the same photographers took our pictures. So like the looks are very similar, right? Like it's funny, but. We talked a lot, we had the same agent, and we just shared a lot of the same struggles. Both Brendan and I are older, and we were always older in the industry. We were working with guys that were like at least 6 years younger than us, and in a different stage of their lives, and Brendan and I were always more mature. We always, the whole Miami scene didn't really fit with our lifestyle. We both struggled to stay in our peak shapes, so we shared so many common things that we really clicked. I mean, I'm talking about like we had conversations over the phone that were like 3 hours long. Like we would just talk and talk and talk and talk. But
it's awesome that you had someone like that in the modeling industry, because like you said, it is tough. You're always trying to beat out that competition and that person. So having someone there and a confidant, that's amazing.
Exactly. And we shared a lot. We were both Jewish, right? Like, so I still have a gift for him from Israel that I need to give to him. I actually forgot.
You were supposed to bring it and you forgot.
I was supposed to bring it with me to the shoot, but it was such a stressful weekend, a hectic weekend, that I just forgot.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, but basically, I lost my train of thought. But basically, what I wanted to say is that we had this amazing relationship, but the magic of it all is that we never actually met in person, right? So here we are, talking hours on the phone, having, sharing all these experiences. And it's so funny because we're like, oh, you shot with this guy? I shot with this guy too. And like, oh, did you go to that city? Oh, yeah, I went to that city. Did you? And then we look at each other's books and we're like, dude, we have the same book. We're like, wait, what now? Okay, so
you two were pretty much destined to meet, though, then. Because you're saying your portfolios are very similar. You work with
I got to bring them together. That makes me feel like the coolest girl ever in the history of girls, because
so you guys were in the same circles but didn't meet meet until Minnesota?
No, LA.
Until
Los Angeles.
Brendan didn't come to Minnesota. Brendan wasn't in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He wasn't there. Well, that's pretty amazing. So that was a huge highlight for you, is to connect with him and meet with him. And that's amazing.
Well, and quite honestly, when I realized that I always wanted all the boys to be together because it's a band, right? And I needed, there's all sorts of other stuff that's going on. And so when we weren't able to do it because of COVID earlier in the year, Regina and I had been concocting this plan for months, and so she was like, just tell me if I can pull the trigger. And I was just like, you know what, we have to pull the trigger. This has got to happen, because all of this is just such a magical sort of, like I said, all these weird little sort of, I don't call them coincidences. Regina and I both call them pretty much magic, because that's how this whole thing has really felt with all of you guys. And especially, like I said, now, and, I kind of alluded to it because if, like I said, like we had some conversation about your background and before you were a model, and sort of, what you do in your real life that was not modeling. And I want you to explain what that is, because it's like such a practice that I incorporated this into Timeless. So if you haven't, I just want you to know why it's there, because it's because of you.
Nice. You want me to touch on it? You want me to say?
Yeah, I would love for you to.
Well, I'll kind of, I'll give a quick background about myself. I'm My name is Enrico Ravenna. My middle name is Omri. It's very Israeli. I was born and raised in Israel, but my dad is from Italy. My mom was from Morocco. So ethnically, I'm half Italian, half Moroccan. Obviously, I'm Israeli. I was born in Israel and I was raised in Israel. I was a professional cyclist growing up, so I competed a lot in Europe. I was the Israeli champion for cycling twice for my age category until I joined the military at 18. When I was 18, I joined the military, and I served for 4 years in the intelligence special forces as a combat soldier and the Krav Maga instructor, right? So a lot of people ask me what Krav Maga is, right? And Krav Maga is what Kaylene incorporated in the book. Krav Maga is the Israeli military, I guess you can call it fighting system, right? Like it's the hand-to-hand fighting system. It's not a martial art. It's not an art form. It's a fighting system. It's a self-defense and self-offense fighting system that we train all of our soldiers. Everyone that serves in the Israeli military, which is everyone because it's mandatory, right? There's a mandatory military service. The mandatory is 3. If you do special forces like I did, you do another year because of the extended training that you have to go through. So you'll have basically more time in the field. And everyone does it, right? So the reason why I love Krav Maga so much, first of all, it's practical. We joke, but the idea is Krav Maga was invented out of a need, right? Like, how do you take a 4'11", 95-pound, 18-year-old girl, put 60 pounds of gear on her, tell her to go stand at the border for 16 hours, and then she has to be able to defend herself, defend the people around her, protect everyone involved in the situation, and neutralize threats if needed, right? So that is how practical Krav Maga is, or is supposed to be, right? It's a fighting system that we can train people in a relatively short amount of time, right? Like, let's say most infantry guys, their training is about a year. And if you take a year of training, I can take a soldier and teach them Krav Maga and basically get them to be able to defend themselves and others, right? And fight in defense of others in a pretty efficient and productive way, right? So that's why I'm a big believer of it. I started training it here in Atlanta about 4 years ago. I tried training it myself, corporate seminars, private clients. I started working with a lot of the pro-Israeli and Jewish organizations in many different formats. And I also went to school while doing it, right? So I actually worked as the head of the security for an investment firm, had my own Krav Maga business, and went to school at the same time. I graduated in May, and now I have a big boy job. And I was also doing modeling and acting through all that. So yeah.
Well, and how I incorporated into Zane's journey, and this is not a spoiler, but Zane is, the son of this very famous rock star. That's not spoiling anything. And of course, as we all know, when you're the son of someone who's famous, you get teased a lot when you're little, and you just are more in the focus. And Zane is such a sensitive, artistic soul that his grandpa got him into Krav Maga to protect himself from bullies who were trying to steal things from him and hurt him at school. And so he uses it for protection, not to be aggressive, but it gave him so much confidence to take himself to the next level. And that's what I felt was really special about it. So anyway.
So we're going to take a little pause because we have a trailer to share, a teaser trailer.
Oh, that's right.
Do you want to walk this in before I hit play?
Sure. This is our first little teaser trailer. The full-length trailer will be coming out. Kiki, you probably know more than I do.
Wednesday. We're going live with the full trailer this Wednesday.
Okay. So this is just a teaser. So you get not just one, but you get 2 timeless trailers. So this is the shorter one.
For this group and anybody watching, this is only going to you all.
Yep.
Here we go.
So here we go.
to watch, Enrico? Like, do you like? How does that feel to watch stuff like that?
It's a complicated answer.
I think it'd be cool. Like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I did that.
It's a complicated answer because it's awesome to watch. First, it's awesome, but also it's hard. It's hard because the acting and modeling industries are highly addictive. They're highly addictive. Once you're used to it, it's really, really hard to get out of it. Like, it's hard. It is extremely difficult to get out of it. And watching videos like that just reminds me of how awesome it is and how I just don't do it as much anymore. So,
right.
Yeah.
So for instance, I know you're backing out of modeling and stuff a little bit, but say, for instance, an opportunity kind of like Kaylene. Kaylene kind of did like a casting call. She knew what she wanted. She had Regina contact people to see if they're available. Are you more open to doing direct things like that in the future?
I will only do it in the future with Kaylene.
I love it.
I love that too.
I will not do it with anyone.
I love that answer.
That okay, time of life is over, and it's only. I mean, I will do it with Kaylene, but other than Kaylene, it's probably a no-go for me at this point.
Okay, so if modeling is gone, so what's next? Are you allowed to share? Like, what are you doing next? What's the next adventure for you? What are you diving into?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. I think, well, first of all, I did acting and modeling for a while, like I said, for about 6 years, while I was doing a lot of other things, but it was fun. It was fun. I did a lot of stunt work as well. I don't know if you guys watch, or anyone here watched, the originals, the CW show, The Vampire, blah, blah, blah. So, are you a fan? Are you a fan?
I am a big fan. Okay, I love Vampire.
One, I was one of the streaks on the show, but I did all of the stunts for Jackson, the werewolf guy. So I was his permanent.
Shut up! I was going to say, when we first started talking, you look like somebody, and that's who it is. Oh my god! Yeah, you look just like Jackson from. Yep.
Yeah. So I was his permanent stand-in and stunt guy double because I just I looked exactly like him.
Yeah. You do.
So yeah, a lot of times when you see him, if it's dark and he's doing something crazy, it might actually be me.
That's so cool. Now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Like, I know him. I know him.
So it was fun. I got to work on some independent films. Having bigger roles, bigger parts. It was definitely rewarding in that sense. But modeling is just it's not something that, especially guys, look, I will say something about modeling, and I don't know how many, I don't think Garrett talked about this in his live session because I was there and I don't remember him saying
I know, he's a stalker of all the guys. He's been at all the lives.
But,
I love it.
I don't think, and my wife and I actually did watch Brandon and Tara's. I don't think they talked about it, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm definitely going to open this up. First of all, being a male model is hard. It is not easy. It is one of the most difficult things I've ever done, and I've done some pretty difficult things in life. Physically, it's hard. Like, staying in shape year long it is exhausting. It is tedious. It is just the bottom line. It's also financially not worth it. And this is the one industry, which I think there should be more industries like that, but it's the one industry where female models make a lot more than male models, like significantly more, right? I was on sets where, the female model and I did exactly the same thing for the exact same amount of time, and she got paid 4 times more than I did. Now, it does come with a side note here. Like, look, female models have a shorter shelf life, right? So if you are 23, 24, you're probably, getting to the end of your career as a female model. But while as a male model, you can be 50 and still be a male model. Because, think about it. Have you ever looked at like a yacht magazine or like a luxury cars magazine? The guy on the yacht might be 50, but the girl standing next to him will still be 19. Yeah. So, which it's sad to say, but it is what it is. That's the reality of things. Right. So, I guess I've decided to kind of pull back on modeling just because it's, again, financially it's just not worth it. I've started doing a lot of other things. I started training Krav Maga a lot more because I obviously I wanted the networking and I wanted the money. I was also in school, so obviously I needed the money. And modeling just didn't cut it. Like, it was great sometimes it was amazing, right? Like, you'll do a job and it's, and it pays $7,000 for 2 days. Great. But then you might not work for 3 months, right? So it's a lot of guys, go into modeling thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do all these jobs and it's gonna be amazing and I'm gonna be in catalogs. Like, yeah, and it's awesome when it happens, right? But only, rare, like very rare, few guys around the world actually get to make a pretty decent living off of it. So when I graduated from college, obviously I think I mentioned that I worked for an investment firm as their head of security. And I worked a lot with, I trained, I did a lot of Krav Maga workshops with a lot of, with multiple pro-Israeli and Jewish organizations. And the last operation in the Gaza Strip, the Guardians of the Walls, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, in last May, that was kind of like the nail in the last nail in the coffin for me, that I knew I wanted to go into Israeli advocacy. And I knew that that's kind of my calling, kind of increasing awareness about Israel here in America. So now I work for an organization that is called the Israeli American Council as the activism manager in the Southeast. And I deal with everything that has to do with activism. It's a lot to explain, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but that's pretty much what I do today. I'm definitely busy. I think, like I said when we first got on the call, I literally got off a meeting. I got out of a meeting like literally Kaylene texted me and I'm like, 1 minute, I'm coming, I'm going up. I'm like, 1 minute. But it's rewarding and it's meaningful. I wake up in the morning with a sense of mission, a sense of like what I do matters, And honestly, ever since my military service, to be honest with you, Kiki, or with you guys, Kiki and Kaylene, modeling is meaningless, right? Like, it has very low, it's very superficial, right? It's all about the way you look.
Right.
You get hired based on what you look like.
Well,
right?
And you were telling me all about that, Enrico. There's a couple things I want to touch on before we leave today, because one of the things that was really fascinating is, I think that women feel all the time like we're always judged by our looks and your fluctuating weight and your hair and your makeup and all this stuff. But I never really thought about it with guys. I've always sort of been under the guys just kind of have it easy. They don't have to do that. But when Enrico was telling me some of the crap that he has gone through to, just to get look and during seasons and all this stuff, it is really, really hard. It is no joke. And some of the experiences of even going out for jobs and sort of just feeling like a piece of meat. I mean, I think that it really opened my eyes.
Yeah. Well, and Enrico, I don't know if we ran in the same circuit or if you did author events or anything like that, because I've been in the book industry since 2012, and I knew a lot of authors bring, models to these events with them. And that was one of my big pet peeves as just someone who has class and dignity. And these people would just grope these models and just some of the stuff that happened. I'm like, come on, people, they're a person, be respectful.
That will never happen on my watch, by the
way.
Just
no,
so we're clear.
It will not. No, but the things that some of the men and women went through, even at those events and what I saw, I'm just like, you all do not deserve that whatsoever. So I have mad respect for models because I feel like you guys are hustlers. You work really hard and, you're just trying to do the best job you can with the job that you were given, so I have mad respect for you all.
Well, and I kind of want to take it back too, because, the fun part of this whole thing, I have not been able to talk about it since we got back and since we were sad that the weekend ended. But how fun was LA? Seriously, how fun was LA with all of you guys? I could not even remotely have hoped for it to be any more awesome than it was. That's in my opinion. Did you have fun?
First of all, it was amazing. I mean, let me tell you something. It did not feel like work, right? It did not feel like
That's awesome.
it felt like just a bunch of people having fun. Like it really did. Like it wasn't by any means difficult, hard. Like it was super just a bunch of people laughing their asses off on set. We laughed. I mean, by the end of the day, listen, Kiki, Kaylene knows this, but by the end of the day, my cheek like
hurt.
muscles like hurt from all the laughing we did.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was so. I haven't laughed like that in I don't know how long. Like seriously, it was fun. It was like developing and nurturing what I want to be a long lasting relationship with you, with the rest of the crew, with it just. It just felt good. It felt like being home, to be honest with you. It felt like we're not. Look, none of us are like. I think besides maybe Shorty, son of Odin, he's just he's living his best life on the island in Hawaii. He's training all day, so he really looks in shape, right? Like he's in an amazing shape. But Brandon and I, Brandon is a dad. I'm like, dude, I have a day job. I don't have time to be 7 hours a day in the gym these days. Like it's just and I can't starve myself like most models do. Like I'm not there anymore. Like I can't, I'm just not there. Like I can't do that. So but with Kaylene and Regina and like the rest of the crew, like it just felt like you're not being judged. Like it's fine. Like it's fine.
I mean, are you kidding me? Look at you. You're.
Actually, listen.
I was going to say, I don't know what he's talking about because I had to go in the stocks the other day, and Colleen, who's our colleague, she was pulling stuff for me for some pictures of you for the art giveaway last week, and I'm like, you look good. You look good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, but being yourself, like I know that it's not my best, but it's also. Getting to my best requires an amount of sacrifice that I just can't. But you
want to know something, and I just want to say this because I was never all that. Regina can say this, but Regina can confirm this. But I'm also like these are musicians who are on tour buses all day that are sleep deprived and eating shitty food and like so. It's not like, you're, and I was telling this to Elena and Debbie, who you see in a lot of the shots are doing wardrobe and sort of, Debbie is the one that's pouring water on Enrico's head in Minnesota. They, they're used to Nordstrom shoots. They both work at Nordstrom and they do high fashion Nordstrom shoots. And it's just a different thing. It's like this for me, like you guys are the character. So that wasn't really ever... There was no judgment because you guys are great and I picked you because you are, you know what I mean? I picked you because I had that feeling. But the other thing too is like the rain room. How cool was the rain room? Like how much better was the rain room in LA than the rain room in Minnesota?
I will say this. You would have probably made us do a lot worse than that rain room in Minnesota. Because we like you that much, but the rain room in LA was a lot nicer. It was a lot nicer for sure. It was fun. It was fun. Seriously, like there was nothing about it that wasn't fun. It did not feel like going to work. Look, most shoots really do feel like going to work, right? Like there's little to no communication with whoever is in charge of the shoot. You go in, hair and makeup, boom, boom. This is the shot list. This is what we want you to do. Tuck, 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 boom. And it's you do what you need to do as many hours as it takes, and you go. Like no one develops a relationship like the one we have developed with you. Like it just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. I'm telling you, like rare. I mean,
you should have.
Sorry, I
just told them I told. Sorry.
I know we're talking over. I guess I told them we all went out to dinner after the shoot, like all of us. And I told these, we all just had this really fun evening, just hanging out. And relaxing and having some food. And I told all these guys, I'm like, you have to understand that I'm going to be gripping your ankles forever because you're part of my world. And when you come into my world, I don't like it when you're gone. So you're always going to be part of my world. Always. Like my favorite part of my world, my Kaylene world.
Yes. Well, what I was trying to say was the planning that went up into this shoot. Kaylene had it planned out to the T, from the dinners to what she wanted you guys to wear. Like, I was so proud of her that she just, I mean, everything was so organized. And like you said, when you go to work sometimes as a model, it's like you go in, you're out, you're done. Like, she had this weekend planned for you guys to do specific things and bonding and dinners. And I feel like she's so professional and so amazing when she's putting all that together, that I love it that you guys appreciated it as much as we did putting it together.
Yeah, I think
well, that's what I was going to say. I have a team, though. Like, it's not just me. I might
know.
have a vision, but I can't possibly do it on my own.
I think to say, I think it's beyond professionalism. It's way beyond that. I think it's the fact that you made it personal. It's the fact that you made us make it personal. Like, we wanted to get to know you. We wanted to do whatever it is, you wanted us to do. We wanted to be your friends. We wanted to be like, how many times on set did I hug you? Did I just come to you and hug you? Because it was,
it was good.
Like hugging you. I saw you and I was like, hey, like it felt like almost having a mom on set. It's like, it felt like that good, right? Like, it really did feel that good. And it's just, it says a lot about you as a person, it really does, because again, I've never had it. Look, I know for a fact, I'm speaking for the entire cast. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen. Like, I've done this, we've done this. Brendan will tell you the same thing. We go in, we go out, like, it's done. It's never as personal as you made it to be. And I feel like that is what created because look, at the end of the day, it's your personality that brought it, like, that made it this fun, because it doesn't matter. And that's why I'm saying it's beyond professional, because when you think about all the professionality of it, right? Like, as a whole, yes, you came up with the whole schedule, you had, group activities and all that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, if we didn't want to reciprocate that, if we didn't want to give you that personal attention, none of that would have mattered. None of that would have mattered. I would have told you, Kaylene, just listen, I don't want to come to dinner. Like, I'm fine. I'm just, like, I'll just go back to my hotel. I don't want to come. I don't want to have dinner with you. It's fine. Just like, whatever. Or I don't want to go to the thing with you. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have just, if it wasn't for you and making us want to make it personal, it doesn't matter how many group activity things you would have come up with. We would have just told you no. Yep. We would have said, like, hey, I'm not feeling like it. It's fine. Let's just don't count me out, right? Like, I'm not. But it's because of who you are that we wanted that, and it's not that we just wanted that. Like, we demanded it, and we loved it, and we were sad when it was over. Like, it was so much fun. It felt like vacation almost. Like, it felt like just having fun with friends that you haven't seen since February. Like, really, that's really what it felt like. Hey, let's go have fun, shoot some fun pictures, play pretend with some guitars and cool instruments, and then go have dinner. Like, I mean, yeah, let's do that. That's awesome.
You guys are so good with the instruments. I couldn't believe, like, some of the, like, and I don't have Regina's photos yet. I just have mine. That I was like, I learned my lesson at the last one. Like, I had to video everything because it's awesome. And by the way, I just want you, I don't know if you know this, Enrico. I don't know if you know this, Kiki, but I went over 8,000 followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm actually more like I'm at like 8,300 now. So I'm hoping to hit 10 by the time Timeless.
Hey, come on, guys. Follow
me on TikTok.
Hold on, wait, I think I got one of those.
Like the videos. Oh, look at. See, there's good. That's Krisha. Krisha is behind the scenes here.
No, that was me. I did that.
So I'm giving
that. Krisha gets all the credit. She set all this up. She's made it all pretty. And Kaylene Winter branding. She's done all this great things, and I had to do a crash course earlier today with her on this. So, okay, so we need to wrap this up because we're almost hitting an hour. It's 46 minutes in. Basically, Kaylene has made a brand. Kaylene has made a name. Kaylene has brought amazing people together. She's writing great books. We released Timeless in 16 days, guys. 16 days.
So excited.
ARCs go out in 14 days. You'll be getting emails from us at the Next Step PR if you have signed up with us. If you're on Kaylene's master list, we'll probably send another email to make sure that you're signed up with everything via us. And then some fun things that Kaylene has coming up. She has a Where I Write feature where she's going to be featured on their website on November 30th. And then we have a big party that we're going to do on October 7th where we're going to have other authors and celebrate this release. We can't do a close to release date because where are you going to be?
I will be in New Orleans. I will be at the NOLA Book Lovers and Vampire Ball at the Marriott in downtown New Orleans. And I'm excited because it's nice to have this event after Ida. And so I will be there and I will have a table and we're giving away a lot of cool stuff. There may be special guests, but we won't make those announcements until later. And
this is your first signing.
This is my very first book signing. And I am a little nervous, but I'm excited to meet a lot of the readers and readers who don't know me. And and get people discover, and then it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for you, Enrico. Thank you so much for joining us, talking with us. Come back anytime. We love chit chatting. We can talk about life, TV, whatever. We like to chit chat. So, any last words, Enrico?
Thank you guys for having me. And I was pretty excited about this. This is awesome. Anytime I get to interact with you guys in some format, I'm always happy to do it. I'm happy and I'm honored that you even want me to do it. It's been such a fun adventure. So thank you, Kaylene, for such an amazing opportunity, such an amazing experience. As a whole. I know people probably have a lot more questions, so feel free to either text me your message, your questions, because it has really been a unique experience. And in 48 minutes, there's only so much we can do, right? We can talk about, and I feel like there are so many more things to talk about, from the first shoot and how it was to film with people that you don't even know, right? Those are some of the questions that I get asked quite often, right? Like how is it to film with someone that you've never met and get into those pretty intimate situations? Like all of these questions about the how was it being in Minnesota in the winter, and for someone that you don't even know, it's when modeling is even behind you. So all of these questions, I'm sure people have. So I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to address it. Anything for Kaylene.
Well, they can still comment. So this will be live in the group still. So if anybody still watches this later and have questions, and you can comment because you're in the group and you're part of this. So you can also answer those in the group too.
Well, who knows? Maybe Enrico and I will get a wild hair at some point in the next couple of weeks and go live again. We don't know. You
don't always need me. Absolutely. You guys go do it. Go live. The readers love hearing from both of you. They love hearing the back end story of everything. So, but yeah. All right, guys. Well, we
appreciate you both so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Enrico. You're the very best Zane.
You guys stay tight. We'll talk to y'all soon.